What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop, and it is another Tech Tip Sunday, powered by Monster Energy Rehab. Also powered by Wawa Burritos this morning. Oh my God, they make the best burritos. Mind-blowing. Get over to Wawa, get a burrito, get a Monster Energy, and enjoy your Sunday. Take pictures. That's my tip for this week. I've often said there are things on your car that you should be doing. You shouldn't be paying me. You shouldn't be paying anybody to do. Replacing your cabin air filter is something you should be doing the majority of the time, or majority of the cars. Some are a little difficult. Engine air filters, you should be replacing those. Wiper blades, you should be replacing those. Bulbs, things like that. There are many things you can do on your car that are going to save you some time. And save you, well, not save you time, save you money by not paying me to do those things. If you're getting into more elaborate work, brakes, sway bar end links, take pictures if it's a job that you haven't done before. I say that because this week we have run into, me and my other senior lead tech, we've had some cars come in, we've torn them apart and be like, hey, this goes back together? What the hell is that? One was brakes, and it was just a new style of clip. Like I said, brakes, sway bar end links, we tear them apart. They haven't changed in forever. You get them, you wait a couple of hours. There's the problem sometimes. You wait a couple of hours. That's going to be another tip. Oh man, my nose is running after that burrito. Fresh jalapenos. I don't care. I don't care what that looked like. Yes, try and get all the parts that you can. Try and scope out all the tools. Get everything and do everything in one sitting. Don't wait. And then take pictures like these sway bar end links. I had to cut them off because they were rusted solid, and I only had to cut them off because I had to do a set of struts on a Nissan NB box van thing, and a whole bunch of parts. And then the new ones come, and I open up the bags, and I'm like, what the hell are all these parts? And I'm like looking, I'm like, oh my God, these are like, they have so many bushings and rods, and I'm like, and then I'm looking at my roll around cart, and then all I have is a pile of parts. So now I'm Googling, no pictures, none. How about, okay, go to YouTube, how to replace the sway bar end links. So, I know how to replace them, but I just wanted a picture of what order that all these bushings go in. Nothing. Zero. Finally scrolling through we have an online software, tells us like labors and tells us a bunch of stuff. It's not something consumers can use. It's dedicated to shops. And nothing in there. But then I found another picture on something else, and I'm like, bam, that's kind of a crappy picture. But I'm like zooming in. I'm like, all right, I think so. I got everything in order, and it got it all back together, and it looked ridiculous. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way this is how this is. It just looks like nothing I've ever seen before. And I'm like, God, I wish I'd have taken a picture ahead of time. But compared it with what the manufacturer, I'm like, all right, pretty sure this is right. My other guy tore apart some brakes, as we want to do, and the new ones come, and like the clips and the brackets are like all like different pieces, and he's like, you ever seen this? I go, what the hell is this? And if the parts come, like if it's going to be a couple hours, we'll usually just tear something apart and then wait till the parts come. Or if sometimes I'll sell a job and then move on to something else, and the parts come, like on that brakes, or on that, like if that was that brake job, I would just do that one side, put all my parts on, then move to the other side. But that other side would be assembled, if I started on this one and I'm like, all these brake clips, like, how do these go back together? Oh, let me go look at the other side. That's why on drum brake shoes, I still been doing drum brakes for 30 years. I refuse to tear apart both sides at the same time. Not happening. Because that used to be, back in the day, you could, all the springs were the same. Essentially, Chrysler added one little, a stainless steel wire. But they're also, now everything is different. Every rear drum shoe. So to this day, I still just do one side at a time. And, but yeah, if you're unfamiliar with something, first thing, you shouldn't just assume that you know how to do something because you did brakes before. I had a guy in, God, it was just yesterday. A little Hyundai Sonata. Sonata? I forget. Maybe it wasn't. I think it was a Sonata. Whatever. And he was, a caliper went bad. And it was metal to metal. And he called him. He goes, oh, he doesn't want the job done. Just do the tires that he was in there for. He goes, I'm still capable enough. I can do brakes myself. And I go, these are a lot more detailed than brake jobs of past. And the guy's like, I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, I didn't want to push it. He's not going to be able to do it. They're electronic brake calipers in the rear. He needs a diagnostic tool to put it into relearn mode to retract the caliper. He's not going to be able to do that. Whatever. He's going to tempt at him. So he's going to get that tore apart and be like, oh, what sucks is he'll be too big of a man to bring it back. Be like, well, I can't take it back now. I already told them. Which he shouldn't feel that way, but I'm a man. I understand. I wouldn't take it back either. I wouldn't suck it up. I'd take it to another shop, because I'm a man. But yes, take pictures. You should be looking up ahead of time, what that job takes. Hey, Google, YouTube, whatever your car, how do I do front brakes on my whatever Nissan Sentra? And like I said, they're going to give you the tools. So make sure you get the tools in order. Make sure you get the parts. When you get the parts, unbox the parts carefully. Don't rip things open, because if it's the wrong one, then you got to put that back on the shelf. And then before you tear anything apart, just kind of hold up, eyeball, look to make sure that the parts are correct. And because nothing sucks worse than getting everything tore apart, start putting it back together, and then realize something's not fitting right. And then especially if you're like doing brakes and you got both sides tore apart, and then, and that's another thing, just tear apart one side at a time, no matter what you're doing. But if you didn't take pictures, you don't know how it went. And then now you got to take parts back, and now you're waiting on parts. And I hate that as well. I hate having to send a part back because I received the wrong part, or my service manager. That's why I try and order my own parts. Service manager ordered the wrong parts, and then it's 5 or 6 hours later, like these sway bar end links. And then you're like, how did those go back together? Like, it's been like 5 hours, 6 hours, or it's been the next day. We've had that parts come the next day. And you're like, oh, man. And you have to try and look it up, Google it. So take pictures, Google, YouTube, whatever it is you're doing. Don't just think that you know how to do it. Look it up. Maybe there's an oddball tool that you need. Watch the video once, watch it again, then proceed with, ordering the parts, tearing apart if it's brakes or something on the car, a little bit of time, taking pictures, taking video if you have to. I've done that way back in the day. It's probably been 20 years, but I've had someone hold the video camera up because something like a bolt was real difficult, and like they'll film, and I'll say, hey, Kevin, remember when you go to put this back in, you got to pull this out of the way, slide this up, and that bolt comes out or goes back in really easily. Don't forget this. And then you watch that, especially if you're ordering parts. So document what you're doing. Even if it's something you've done in the past. Today's new cars are different animals. They take different tools, different procedures. Don't just assume that you're working on your 1971 Pontiac Grand Prix again. It's not. Things are different. All right, cats and kittens, that's all we got for this week. We'll see you next week with another Tech Tip Sunday powered by Monster Energy Rehab.